Hi, it's Sylvia here with Vintage Kitchen Vixen, where I share tips for simple living, creating memorable gatherings, and preparing wholesome traditional meals. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the like button, and get ready for today's episode, which is centered around table etiquette. This episode is inspired by Amy Vanderbilt's complete book of etiquette. The 50th anniversary edition. I got it maybe 8 years ago, and it is a gem of a book. It is jam-packed with tips on family life, on weddings, on how to behave at different parties and events, tipping etiquette, professional life, how to communicate. There's traveling. It has everything you could possibly think of. Amy Vanderbilt left no stone unturned. Despite this hefty tome, there's only maybe 5 to 10 pages on table etiquette. So I'm going to share ones that I find are most important when you're at the table. So we are going to get started. We're going to start with tip number 1, which is sit with a straight posture. Don't slouch. Nobody wants to see you slouching at the table. Yeah, can you pass me the peas, please? Please. I don't know if you're slouching, maybe just reach across the table and grab the peas, which is another no-no. So sit up straight, don't slouch, and ask for things to be passed to you if you want it. Do not reach across the table. Do not reach across somebody else to grab what you need. Just ask, hey, Peter, pass the peas, please. Pass the peas. If you approach a table and you notice that there are napkins ready and waiting for you, what you're supposed to do with the napkin is put it into your lap. And apparently you're not supposed to shake it out, which I have been guilty of in the past. Apparently you just do a little half fold or unfold half of it and set it in your lap. And this has helped me on many occasions because sometimes I drop a little bit of food and it protects my pants or my skirt or my dress, depending on what I'm wearing. So it's a practical rule. And it's also easy. If you need to wipe your mouth, you just pat and put it down. And then when you do get up, do not leave your napkin on the seat. Place it by your table setting. I think the whole reasoning behind this, I was rebuked once for this, but the reason for this is your butt touches the chair. You don't want your napkin to be placed somewhere where your butt was. Wait until everybody is seated before you start digging into the food. This is a big pet peeve of mine if I'm at an event and people start digging in. If you're at a restaurant and half the table gets their meal, it's okay to dig in before everybody else. Usually I'm in a group where we're really polite and patient and we wait till everybody gets their food unless those people are pretty insistent that you dig in. Now, if you are in a setting where the hostess begins eating, you can begin, or if the hostess says, please eat before it gets cold, that's also a cue for you to get started. But if you don't have those two cues, wait. Chew your food with your mouth closed. We don't want to see any of this off the table. We are not cows, we are not chewing cud. We are humans and we are chewing our food. And on this whole subject of chewing, don't eat with your mouth full. You don't want to spit food at somebody when you're talking. And when we're at a dinner table setting, we should be focused on more than just eating our food. We should be making efforts to contribute to the conversation around the table. Have a chat with the person across from you or the person that's sitting beside you. If you're at a table of strangers at a wedding, for example, get to know them. Be the one who takes that initiative and break the ice. If there is shared butter at the table, not individual pats of butter, but like a little butter dish, take what you need with your knife or the butter knife that is there with the butter and put it on either your butter plate or your main plate. So if you have a butter plate, that one of those little small plates that's off to the side of your plate, put the butter on there. Don't take the butter directly from the dish and spread it on your roll. Put it on the plate, put the knife back if there was a butter knife, and then with the butter on your plate, you can butter whatever it is you want, whether that's cob of corn or a piece of bread. If you need to leave the table, please remember to excuse yourself. And when I was a kid, this was a big rule. I always had to ask, may I please be excused? And that's a polite thing to do today, in present day as well. But what I normally do in these situations, I just say, please excuse me. So it's just not getting up and leaving abruptly from the table. Make an announcement that you need to step aside for a little bit. Do not steal food off of other people's plates. Now my husband, he's a funny guy and he's renowned for this. He once was given a gift of an extendable fork, which I think he might still have because he likes stealing food from other people's plates, because some people just pick and they don't actually want to eat it, or it's breakfast and he spots a piece of bacon that's been ignored on somebody's plate. You best be sure he's going to get that bacon. We steal food from each other's plates regularly, but if we're in a nice setting, that's not going to happen. But family dinner, it's something that's more funny than anything, but it is considered to be poor table manners. This one, I'm sure we've all heard it, keep your elbows off the table. My mom had this little rhyme that she said when I was little, and the rhyme was, Sylvia, Sylvia, strong and able, keep your elbows off the table. And it's not an original rhyme, it's just one of those little table manner reminders for children, a little rhyme to remember. Some cultures, it's okay for you to rest your elbows on the table between courses, maybe when you're having dessert. And I sometimes do this between courses, but when you're eating your food, just wrists are fine on the table, but keep the elbows off. Don't tip back your chair. Stay rooted in one place. It's very elementary school or high school to me, is tipping your chair backwards. But apparently there are a lot of people who do it. Don't do it. Don't season your food before tasting it. It's kind of insulting to the cook because you're not putting trust or any confidence in their culinary abilities if you're seasoning the food before you even taste it. Maybe you are somebody who likes a lot of salt or pepper on your food, but taste it first. At least give that courtesy. And then if you need to add more, take that liberty. And another thing that Mrs. Vanderbilt proclaims is don't douse your food in gravy or sauces. Just put a little bit. Otherwise, you're kind of like adding more insult to the chef. And the last rule for table etiquette that I'm going to share today is one that I learned watching Titanic and Jack Dawson going hesitantly into the dining room, and then Kathy Bates, I don't remember the name of her character, Molly? Doesn't matter. But she tells them, don't worry, just work everything outside in. If there are multiple pieces of flatware on the table setting, that means there's going to be more than one course. So with each course, you just start on the outside and you slowly work your way in. Those are all the tips that I have to share with you today. There are a lot more that Amy Vanderbilt presents in this book. I'll include a link to this below in case you want to check it out. I also have a much more thorough, and it's not modern, because I have a little ebook that goes over vintage tips for table etiquette at the turn of the 20th century. So there are over 80 tips for how one should behave at a dinner table in 1906. It's a fun little collection. If it's something that would be up your alley, I'll drop the link below so you can come visit me in the kitchen and check it out. Other than that, thank you so much for joining me today. If this is something that you enjoyed, please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Give this video a like and leave a comment and share with somebody who is a table etiquette enthusiast or needs to learn about table etiquette. Hint, hint, you have terrible table manners. Here's a video for you. Okay, that's all for me. Ta-ta.